What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to episode 4 of the Teddy and JD podcast. I'm here remotely with my man Teddy today. What's up, Teddy? How you doing, bro?
Hey, man, what's going on, man? I'm doing good as I can be under the circumstances.
Yeah, man.
It's tough times right now.
It is tough time, bro. They got us hemmed up. But yeah, we're gonna get into that. Obviously, we want to talk a little bit. Obviously, the coronavirus is the main story in the world today. How it's impacting our lives over here in the Netherlands, which is part of Europe, and yeah, and then we want to touch on how, because basketball is such a big part of our lives, how it's impacted that. I mean, globally, at the highest level. So yeah, man. Wanted to get a quick podcast in here. One of the good things about having free time is we got time to do this, huh?
Absolutely. And there's a lot of free time to go around, too. Let me tell you.
Facts.
Let me tell you.
Facts. All right, man. Let's dive right in. Coronavirus. We are currently in the height of it for Europe. Obviously, Italy has been dealing with it a little earlier than we have, and today I just read what they have over 4,000 deaths right now. There's over 5,000 in Europe, and that's going to rise. So it's pretty crazy. They're asking. Some countries are locked down like completely with police occupation type stuff. Um,
Yeah.
we're they're asking us to stay in our homes, but everything's closed, so there's really nowhere to go except the grocery store. So Teddy, um, how's this impacted your life, bro? I mean, this is crazy, right? Like, you know,
Man. No sports on no station. Pretty much you sitting around watching old video of yourself from 2006 when you thought when I thought I was Mike at the time. Man, it's a lot of Netflix time, a lot of chill time. On one hand, it give you you get to spend a lot of time with the fam. On the other hand, like far as like what you do for hobbies, like watching, I'm a big sports watcher, so I mean, the only thing that's been exciting for me is I don't know if you watch. I be keeping up with the football league and the free agency started. So
yeah,
watching different players move from different teams and these teams make these trades. That's been the most exciting thing. But
Brady to
other
the
than that,
Bucks.
man, I'm automatically a Bucks fan,
There you
baby.
go. There you go. I
I'm
knew that.
automatically a Bucks fan.
I knew that. I
But
knew
yeah,
that.
it's been a big change. Like I said, I'm big on sports, so no sports on TV kind of pushed me back to Netflix and a lot of TV shows and movies. So I mean, what can we do? Like you said, ain't a whole lot we can do. Can't really go outside much. It's not a lot of things going on out there. Can't go out to eat. No movies, theaters. So you kind of pressed to kind of stay in the house to kind of take care of yourself. But man, it's been hard though. It's different. On one hand, like for me personally, as far as like staying in, that's not the biggest change. It's just the TV thing, like being able to watch sports. That's the biggest thing because I've been a stay-home dad for this whole season, so I pretty much my schedule was already set. I've been in the house for for the majority of the year now. So that wasn't a big change. It's just what I can watch,
Right.
what I'm able to view. So
Right.
other than that, everything else been cool. I mean, going to the stores is a little crazy now. Not a whole lot of food on the shelves.
Yeah, that
I
is
mean,
crazy. There was a run on the
why is
grocery
it? But
stores, just like in
yo,
America. We had the same. Everything was
why
low.
they keep taking all the chicken out the grocery stores like that though? I was like, man, this crazy.
Everybody love their chicken, man. That's why.
Clearly,
people nervous. People thought they was gonna close the stores. Possibly, we didn't know what was going on. People was panicking. Shoot,
man.
you can't be at the
But
crib with no food.
and then the Italy thing is such a man mind blowing because it just jumped from one day, just like overnight. They got so many people who were infected by it, so
Yeah,
that's kind of
yeah,
man. I don't even know what to say about that. Like
right.
it got crazy drastically. It happened so quick, and now with that happening, now that like you said, that pretty much sums up a lot of the deaths in Europe alone. So that kind of puts Europe over the threshold as far as like
Right.
taking over the how many deaths they got over China. So
Yeah.
man, it's been a lot, bro.
It
What
has been
about
a
you?
lot. It has like kind of the same. Touching on, I'm trying not to watch the news so much, and then like because you get confused. Everybody's got a different stat here, different stat there. Like, uh, all and the biggest things that I gather from it so far is like I don't know if we can necessarily. People are gonna get it now. What we're doing now, social distancing and things like that, it's gonna help. But you know, uh, there's already a lot of people walking around that have it that don't even know it. So it's gonna spread, and it's just like I'm just hoping the mortality rate stays as low as possible. But we just been in the crib, bro. I haven't left the crib since last Sunday, and that was to go to the store. I'm mainly worried about my newborn, really, because they say most of us that get it won't be, life threatening or whatever. But he's got a brand new immune system, so that was something that we're worried about a little bit. But we just been in the crib. I've been trying to keep a schedule best as I can. Keep my daughter as best as we can. Do a little something at the same time every day, and we just get outside as much as we can in the yard and let her get some energy out. And like you, man, a lot of Netflix. Been watching a lot of League Pass reruns. I was watching Kyrie drop 54 on the Bulls the other last night. So I'm looking at instant classics. I had that up on the gram. I was watching the Lakers and the Mavs first meeting, which was a great game. Uh, but other than that, it's just been crazy because how fast it happened. Like you said, like so March 12th, which was last Thursday, we had practice. We had a talk with management before that practice, and they were saying, yeah, everything's up in the air right now. We had a game that coming Sunday on the 15th was still scheduled. So we was like, we'll let you know, we'll keep you posted. We start going on with practice. 30 minutes into practice, they tell us league postponed for 3 weeks. Like 30 minutes in. So then, so we finished that practice, and then the other Americans that needed to go home, they talked to management, see how that situation would play itself out. Then the next day, pretty much every American in our league was gone.
Yeah.
Italy postponed their league 2 weeks ago or something. Belgium the same. Uh, so it was just really, it was moving fast, bro. It was moving fast. Didn't really even get to have like a real proper goodbye to some dudes that I developed, some pretty
Yeah.
good friendships with. So that sucked. And then now, the league's been canceled as of yesterday. The whole European basketball right now there's a lot of uncertainty because we always depend on corporate sponsors and
Yeah.
private sponsors, so the market's probably going to be upside down next year. You never know what's going to happen. So there's just so much uncertainty in the air right now, and that's the worst part about it to me. And I, aside from people dying, obviously,
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
but
Of course.
yeah, so it's crazy, man. The league postponed, like you mentioned, so it's tough. It's yeah, it's something I think that history will remember. We'll always remember where we were at, and it's just interesting. Me and you being Americans. I also have my Dutch citizenship, but we're in the Netherlands right now with our families and stuff. So it's a unique experience. It's only the beginning. They're telling us in the Netherlands, so I'm hoping everybody out there stays safe. Uh, yeah, man.
Yeah, I think like the fact that it's new and we ain't never been in this situation. It's hard to tell whether we overreacting or underreacting. Like whether we
Facts.
not doing enough or whether we doing too much. So it's like you almost gotta take extreme precautions just to try to make sure you're safe. So it seems like even if you're going over the top with a 24-hour lockdown, it's better than just sitting back and pretty much trying to coast through it. So it's like we in we in a gray area in the world right now. So it's crazy times.
It is crazy times. And to touch on that, like you don't know how cautious you have to be or whatever. How if we're being too cautious, I'm fighting the same thing, and I'm looking at it like now they're saying young people aren't immune to it, but at first it was mostly old people or people in poor health were the most in danger. That may be changing apparently, but for me it was like I wasn't necessarily never worried about getting it. Like I said, I was worried about my newborn, but I'm more worried about like if I was to be irresponsible and go out and or just do stuff that they say like you shouldn't do, then I could potentially spread it to somebody who who is vulnerable. So that was my biggest thing. Like, and my family's and us staying in the crib as much as we could. You know what I mean? So, like I said, man, I hope we just get through these times and oh, like I said, everybody stay safe out there. Also, shout out to Donar Management, how they handled this whole situation. Coming from a basketball standpoint, they were always communicating with us, letting us know what was what. And as a player, you could probably appreciate this too. In times of uncertainty, when your employer is pretty current on how they're going to handle the situation moving forward, I was very appreciative of that. So figure I'd throw that out there too. So
As you should. I mean, that's the thing. A lot of it about well-being too. Like jobs being cut in half, and yeah,
facts,
people having to travel back and forth across the world to get home. So
facts. Yeah, there's a lot of yeah. People can't go to work, man. That's another element of this that we're gonna feel some pain economically. Yeah, it's gonna be tough. So I hope everybody just like I said, man, can buckle down and get through this. So that leads me into my next point, Teddy. Coronavirus has obviously affected our lives, but how has it affected, like, okay, you said no sports, it's affected all basketball on the whole planet. Like I said, our league is canceled. There's no NBA right now. There are a lot of storylines that I really wanted to see play out this year in the NBA. Um, like,
we all want to see a lot of storylines play out.
you know what I mean? Like, there was a lot, man. Number one for me was just the Lakers and everything involved. I mean, you had Kobe's death. Um, Obviously, I should start with Bron and AD teaming up. They were currently sitting in first place in the West, just to beat the Clippers and the Bucks. Um, LeBron potentially uh, could have won his fifth MVP, and I'm acting like the season's before. I'm really hoping it's just postponed. Theirs isn't canceled like a lot of leagues in Europe. So I should
Yeah,
say that, but
put that out there. Yeah,
yeah,
like
yeah.
it's
So we
just a chance
could
that
get
they
to see
might
it,
finish the season.
right? But
It's a chance.
and then also, what if we get to miss out? A potential Lakers Clippers Western Conference Finals. I mean, this was the first time in a long time, Teddy, with the NBA that you had multiple teams. I feel like with a legit shot to win it, and I wanted to see. The Lakers and the Clippers were involved in an arms race. Like I said, you had LeBron versus Kawhi. What touch on that? Like, what do you think if it doesn't happen? Like, how disappointing is that for you, bro?
Man, did you hear that deep breath I just took, bro?
Right.
Man, the thought of this crazy. Like this was one of the most anticipated seasons since I've been watching this. Like this is a highly anticipated. This was a highly anticipated season, especially the Lakers. Between the Lakers and the Clippers, I think that's something that the world was kind of looking forward to. The Battle of LA. Then you got LeBron pretty much setting the standard for older players and changing, the concept of what's possible for players of his age. So then you got Giannis coming into his own. It's like it's a lot of narratives in the NBA that we gonna miss because it's a lot of young guys who are also coming to their own with Luka. Then look, we got Philly at the bottom of the East. It's like it's so much that you look forward to prior to now. Like you might have took some of it for granted to now. Like now we may not get to see none of that stuff. So that's a hard pill to swallow,
It
man.
is, bro.
No playoff basketball. That's when That's when it get more serious, more strategic. The game it's more intense. So I think
Right.
all of us were looking forward to that. Not to mention, we miss March Madness too. So
Right. That's
it's
crazy.
like,
You know, the series that they canceled March Madness, bro. That was a big blow too, because you got the pools, people betting, like, you know what I mean. Like, that's just a part of like basketball culture. But yeah, I agree with you.
like man, like then look, you got that eighth spot at the bottom of the West. Everybody fighting for. You got 3 or 4 teams fighting for that eighth spot. Like all that is, what was making it, especially with them last 20 games or
20
so.
games, man.
Like
A lot of
every
teams
game
right
was
there.
valuable because teams was fighting for that eighth spot from Sacramento, New Orleans, Portland, and Memphis.
Right.
Memphis all fighting for that spot. Like that was gonna make it interesting coming down the stretch on
Yep.
who was gonna be able to, grab that. So man, it's been. I told you, man, it's been hard, man. I might, you know what I'm saying. I almost started smoking. I almost started smoking cigarettes, man. You know what I mean?
You really stressed, huh?
Jeez.
Yo, that's
I
crazy. But hey, for me, because I'm a Bron guy, I consider myself like whatever team, like how you said with Brady, whatever team he's with, that's who I'm riding with that year. And like, but it's something's different about like when you're a Laker going to the playoffs. Like Laker fans expect chips, you know what I mean? So
yeah.
this would have been the first time the Lakers were in the playoffs in 6 years. That in itself, like there was gonna be some electricity in them games. You know what I mean? Like some energy. And Bron, like the way he was playing, uh, he was he looked really confident. He was just attacking the basket all the time, taking the challenge on defense. AD was playing big in big games. Um, I just really hope we get to see them finish it because I also want to see. I'm hoping and praying that they meet the Clippers or would have met the Clippers. We'll see how it goes, but because I want to see that too. That was must see TV. I mean, so many
Man,
great players on the court in a playoff setting with so much to play for, with legacies on the line. Man, that's why we watch, bro. And
yeah, that's what sports junkies like us live for.
yeah, so, but also I was really hoping, like I told you this earlier. I think Giannis was the clear cut to me MVP if you're going off stats and impact on winning and things like that. But if Bron would have got the MVP, I wouldn't have argued it. I would have been super happy because that's his fifth,
Of course you
and that
wouldn't have
puts
argued
you
it.
know what I'm saying. And they ain't like he's not deserving too. I just thought Giannis was more deserving this year. But if he gets five MVPs, that's rare company. I mean, four is already rare, but I think what Mike was the only other one, maybe Kareem. I have to fact check that. But either way, you have five NBA MVPs, bro. That's another notch on the old belt for all these arguments people want to have with me. You know what I mean?
Which most people would argue he should already have about five
He
to
should.
seven, or to, you know,
He should.
most people think, he should have had it a lot more and he's gotten it already. So, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he win. Like you said, he's deserving of it. He's having that kind of season. So, and again, it's about narrative too.
Exactly.
LeBron, older player, pushing
Exactly.
the boundaries of aging. So, I think that narrative alone is one thing. Then he coming off an injury. he playing for, last year the team, he got hurt. The team pretty much went from one of the top teams in the West to the bottom team. So it's like, it's a lot that goes into his favor because Giannis just doing pretty much the same thing he did last year with his team. I'm saying like, and it's like a repeat of his team being in a winning situation and him having good numbers. And so again, when that starts happening, when you see something twice or two or three times already, it get repetitive, So the narrative ain't as strong
Right.
as like this is something new what LeBron doing. Where with Giannis, we seen this last year, so it's like it's kind of like with Harden. When Harden and Westbrook was running for that MVP, I think Westbrook got it because of the triple double, but based off where Houston was in the West and James Harden numbers, you can argue that James Harden should have got that. So, but because it was the first time we've seen a triple double since Oscar Robertson, which I didn't see, but
Facts.
that a lot of people witnessed, they gave it to him based off history. So I feel like that kind of play in LeBron's favor. So because being what's the Bucks record?
The Bucks right now, I think
3-12.
something like that.
I mean,
I can
again,
check that.
the thing is that Lakers still had a shot to catch them, to be the top team
They
in
did.
the league. So
They did.
that's also a narrative that he catched them in the West in the West, while he's in the West and had the best record. So
And coming off that weekend, he had the media narrative was in his favor too. With all the points you had just touched on, like all the talk shows, like it was ramping up, so you could see it happening.
yeah.
So it'd be unfortunate if they aren't get to if they don't get to finish that. By the way, Mike had 5, Jordan, Kareem had 6. I thought Kareem had 6, but yeah, he ended with 6. So, but he to get 5 and tie Mike, that's something that any player when they set out to start playing basketball, you're not like I'm gonna win 5 NBA MVPs. That's just incredible. So,
Yeah,
but also another you mentioned the A spot, and we had this argument on a previous episode. Zion and the Pelicans, they was 3 or 4 games back. Let me see. I think 3.
They 4 games back behind Memphis.
4 games. You're right. 3.5. No, excuse me. 4 games. 4 games. And they had 20 left to play. Zion came on the scene, bro, as I expected him to do. He burst on the scene with some incredible performances through his first 15 or 20 odd games, however many he played. Proved he's a star in my opinion. Obviously, I think he has some holes in his game, but the chemistry that him and Lonzo were developing, that's another thing that I'm gonna be pretty salty about if they don't get to finish the season. But I'm hoping that the core of Ingram, Lonzo, and Zion stay together. How do you see them moving forward, bro? I think potentially
Man,
they
I
could be
think
one
they
of the best
got a
teams in the West.
yeah, I think they got a bright future.
Yeah.
Especially with the growth of Alonzo and his jump shot. I mean, I think he already could shoot. I think he's just more consistent. Just as you age, you just become more consistent
Right.
as a shooter. I mean, because he was a scorer from in college too. A lot of people don't talk about it, but it's not like he was just a pure point guard.
Right.
He's just an amazing passer. So
Right.
we highlight that more. So
Right.
I think with having him be a pass first point guard with Zion, who's super athletic and running the floor, they mesh well together.
I think you need that with Zion.
Yeah.
I really do. I don't think you could have a shoot first point guard with him. I don't know if you would get everything out of Zion that you can, but I agree with you 100%. I think their future is crazy bright. And I was hoping they would get in the playoffs because that there's nothing like experience, right? As you know. So, they would get baptized this year, most likely. They probably they would have played the Lakers, it looked like. So I don't think anybody gives them a chance in that series, but just that experience, I felt like would have been invaluable. You mentioned Sacramento. And like I said, I
Yeah,
put my
they
foot.
were like a good
They
basketball in the
were,
last
bro.
what six games or so.
Yeah,
They were making some noise
they
too.
were. They were right there too. And you know, like I told you the last episode, I had to give it to Luke Walton. Man, he turned it around. They had a fighting chance, and I'm interested to see how they look with Marvin Bagley because they were talking about shutting him down for the year. So that's another interesting team I got my eyes on. But Luca and Porzingis down in Dallas, I really wanted to see how they fared in the playoffs this year. So I'm praying that we get to see that because as I told you, they were my dark horse pick to really make
Yeah,
some serious noise in the playoffs because I think they're going to be a tough out just because um, Luca he has the ability to control entire games possession by possession offensively, and he's good enough and he's at that level to where he can in a slow down half court setting he could produce a good shot for himself or his teammates pretty much every time. And then you add Porzingis in there, and that pick and roll with them is pretty serious. So I was really interested to see how they did. So I'm hoping all these things happen, Teddy. But what's your feelings on the Mavs? Like I know you was a big fan of Luca too.
and that's what I was about to say. You know, Luca, when it's like the same effect when players get injured, and you see why they in the MVP. You see why they start players in the MVP running. Because when he went down, man, the team fell from like 3 to like what they at 7 now. So it just shows his value to the team. But again, he averaging nearly a triple double, right, at like 30 points. So I mean, I guess the numbers speak for themselves. But sometimes numbers don't really tell the impact that a player can have to the
Agreed.
team. Like
Agreed.
he's carrying the load of the team, and when he went down, the team struggled a bit. So, you know, I think with this break, if the league starts back up, it'll be good for some of these teams. Now that I'm looking at them, because Luca had that thumb
He
injury,
was
right?
injured.
Yeah,
Good for
yeah, like
Bron too.
yeah,
Good for the
knick-knack
Lakers.
injuries. Yeah,
Yeah.
so even thinking about Kawhi and his,
Yep.
like players like that. So if it start back up, it's like all those players are gonna be like fresh. So it's going. If it start up, it's gonna be interesting to see again. And as far as like Dallas goes, I'm with you. I'm looking at it. They the only real dark horse that I would. Now, what the other team I would say at this point that I would say a dark horse is Portland if they can grab that 8 seat, if they can get in that 8 spot,
Yeah,
because they
Dame could
just
win a series, but I don't see it by the Lakers though. I don't.
yeah, that's what I was about to say. But I mean, the
Maybe
reason I said
Houston.
that's dark as it get because I don't really consider Houston. Okay, well I guess OKC, but I
Oh
don't
yeah,
see
OKC.
Houston,
I'll give you that.
Utah, and Denver really as dark horses. They've been so good the last 2 or 3 years. You kind of expect them to have some kind of impact in the first round, like you don't expect them to come into a series and kind of get swept over. You expect them to push the series as to however far they're gonna go. Where on the
I
other
agree.
hand, with Dallas, we ain't seen them in the playoffs since what? With a good
Uh,
team, with a team. I'm saying to
Not with it
have this
was a
kind of
team to do something. They were always in
yeah,
that NBA purgatory seventh, eighth
yeah,
spot.
right. So
Uh,
with that being said, like I feel like Dallas, Portland, if they grab that 8 spot, they can, because of the experience, they got experience on their team and they got a good coach, and they got some good players. I ain't saying that they can beat the Lakers, but they ain't,
they ain't
not in
gonna get
my opinion.
swept in
They
your
got,
opinion.
yeah, I don't see them
I got
getting
you.
the broom put to them, so.
I got you.
Now again, I don't know how well they match up with the Lakers, but on the flip side of that, they've been there before. They've went pretty deep off into the playoff run, so they would be my other dark horse other than Dallas. Everybody else is just
Yeah,
pretty steady.
I agree. The only reason I mentioned Houston was because you know if Russ and Harden are both clicking with that small ball lineup, it's hard to stop them from scoring. But
Yeah.
defensively, you're right. I don't think they have enough. Teddy, let's hope that we get to see these things, man. Let's hope and pray that this crisis is over as fast as possible. Um,
Please, cause I'm so sick of all the Instagram challenges. Push up challenge, jumping jack challenge, game face challenge.
I'll be seeing you.
And
I'll be seeing you getting them push ups in
I'm new
though.
to the gram, so all this coming in
Yeah.
at one time is a lot. I'm like, everybody challenging you to something.
I'll be
I'm
seeing you
like,
get them push ups in. I'll be seeing you and your boys got the push up
come on, man,
challenge
that's
going.
that in-house workout. I'm
There
about
you
to
go.
send it to you. You ain't got nothing else to do.
Facts. Go ahead and send it over, brother. And hey man, it was good talking with you. Y'all stay safe down there. And
Try
everybody,
you two in the fam.
all right, brother. Everybody, thanks for listening. Have a good one. We out.